Hello and welcome to Chess Lovers channel. In my left hand I have this book, Chess Lessons from a Champion Coach. This is a title chosen by the publishing company Batsford. If I had chosen the title, I would prefer a title like The 60 Most Important Chess Lessons or The Most Important Chess Lessons. This book is mainly dealing with important ideas in chess history, and there are other books discussing the same theme. The most famous is obviously Modern Ideas in Chess by Richard Reti, and then he continued with Masters of the Chessboard. And after Reti wrote this excellent book, The Development of Chess Style, and this is the second edition which has been extended by John Nunn. And we also have this book, The Battle of Chess Ideas by Anthony Sadie, the American international master. But the difference with this book is that I'm starting earlier by discussing Ruy Lopez in the 16th century, and I'm ending with Magnus Carlsen. So I'm discussing the most important players from Ruy Lopez to Magnus Carlsen with a representative game, which is typical of the time and the playing style. So the name of the first chapter is The Dawn of Modern Chess. And then I start off with Ruy Lopez, the father of chess theory. Then I'm discussing Greco, the first tactical player. And then, of course, Philidor, the first positional player. Then we have the modernist school in Italy, discussing players like Del Rio, Lolli, and Ponziani. And then I continue with La Bourdonnais, the father of the soundest plan. Howard Staunton, the father of the English school. And after these very important figures in chess history, I'm running up with questions about the early chess history and, of course, pedagogical answers. So you really learn this period of chess very thoroughly. And after that, I continue with Adolf Anderssen, the romantic player. And then, of course, Paul Morphy, the dynamic player. So you might say he's the father of the dynamic chess because he understood the value of time. And then the most important player of them all, Wilhelm Steinitz, the scientific player. So he started off the scientific trend in chess. And in the 19th century, in the end of the 19th century, Emanuel Lasker beat Steinitz in 2 World Championship matches. And he is mainly focused on pragmatism and psychology. And after Lasker, we have a typical disciple from Steinitz, Sigbert Tarrasch. I had just called him the chess teacher because he's one of the greatest teachers in chess history. Then we have Karl Schlechter, the Viennese artist. Akiba Rubinstein, the deep positional player. Aron Nimzowitsch, the prophylactic player. He's also extremely important. I would say the most important after Steinitz. And after Nimzowitsch, important principles and concepts are discussed by questions and answers. Then I go on with Capablanca, the chess machine. Richard Reti, the hypermodern player. I've already mentioned his 2 books, Masters of the Chessboard and Modern Ideas in chess, very important books to assimilate thoroughly. Efim Bogolyubov, the optimistic player. It's extremely important to be optimistic in chess, and Bogolyubov is the most typical player of that frame of mind. Alexander Alekhine, the complete chess artist. To my mind, Alekhine, he understood everything: opening, middle game, end game, psychology, dynamics, and so on and so forth. Max Oehwe, the methodical player. Mikhail Botvinnik started off the Soviet school. The prepared players is also very important regarding the psychological aspect in chess, that you need to know your opponent and you need to know yourself. So it originates a lot from Alekhine. Botvinnik was obviously influenced by all these classical world champions. And the first world championship Botvinnik played was against David Bronstein, the artistic player. Then we have Vasily Smyslov, the technical and intuitive virtuoso. Michael Tan, the Wizard of Riga, an extremely interesting player which we will talk about in later clips, because I have studied him a lot, but so far I haven't written any book about him. Tigran Petrosian, the deep prophylactic player, so he's much deeper than Aaron Nimzowitsch, so he continued by going beyond Nimzowitsch theories. Boris Spassky, the universal player. Bobby Fischer, the aggressive classical player, so he is a classical player inspired by Steinitz, but in an aggressive way. Viktor Korchnoi, the heroic defender. Anatoly Karpov, the practical and intuitive player. Garry Kasparov, the deep dynamic player. I mentioned before that Morphy was the first important dynamic player, and obviously Kasparov had developed the question of time in chess as also Tal did. I mean, super dynamic play. Vladimir Kramnik, I had called him the deep classical player. Viswanathan Anand, the classical and dynamic player. So he is close to universal player. Magnus Carlsen, the versatile and classical player. So that is the structure of this book, which I obviously recommend because I want to write books, I want to read myself. And I thought that by study these books by Max Oehwe, Seidi, and Rieti, you have a very good grasp of the most important strategical ideas through chess history. But some stages of the history was missing, and I have tried to fill these gaps. It's by no way a complete book, but you will get a good overview of the most important strategical ideas in chess history by reading this book thoroughly and by learning some games by heart. I have written in the book what the books you really should learn by heart. I will continue to discuss other books as well as my own books, so you just stay tuned to this channel. See you later.